All right, let's now bring in the chief government pathologist. Johansen Oduor is joining me live from Nairobi here. So there are new directives, Johansen. Thanks for making time for us. There are new directives that you've given when it comes to handling people who die from COVID-19. What are those guidelines henceforth?
Following the outbreak of coronavirus and knowing very well how infectious the disease is, many people have died all over the world, and we've experienced about, I think, 6 deaths by now in Kenya. And we don't know what will happen in future. We don't know, because you look at the other part of the world, look at Italy, look at Spain, you've seen how much of death they've experienced. So we decided that to avoid a situation whereby we have so many bodies lying in the mortuary, and these are bodies which are potentially infectious, we came to that decision of having that directive of bodies be buried within 24 hours of death.
Johansen, what if a family can't afford or doesn't pick the body of their relative within 24 hours, like you say, because that's a very short time?
We have come up with measures to cushion that. As government, we are going to assist the relatives transport the body to the place of burial. So the question of cost will not come in. Just in case nobody is found, bearing in mind that we are ready to assist, we're going to bury the body at the nearest cemetery.
So are you essentially saying then that there will be no up-country burials henceforth? If a COVID-19 patient dies, they are buried where they died?
What I'm saying is we are going to support burial of the body at the up-country. We'll support logistic, we'll provide logistic support. But in event that there's no one who appear within 24 hours, we are going to bury at the cemetery near the place where the person died.
Okay. So why don't you embalm the bodies of a COVID-19? Just if you explain also what embalmment is. Why is this body so different from the others?
Embalming basically is when someone dies, to avoid the deterioration of the body, which leads to decomposition. A fluid called formalin is introduced into the body. Based on the WHO guideline, CDC, the Royal College of Pathologists, and other guidelines all over the world, embalming is discouraged, being that when this body comes to the mortuary, it will mean that the mortician will start manipulating it. And in the course of manipulating, there'll be aerosols, there'll be splashes all over, and these splashes will probably potentially carry infections, and that's why we're discouraging embalming.
So in the event that somebody passes on at home, so how should the family conduct themselves then?
People have died at home before because of many causes. So in case of someone dying suddenly, because I've seen people dying suddenly and people panicking that is COVID, we just follow the normal mechanism, call the police, and they handle the case. Someone who died because of suspected COVID, the persons should call the police too, and of course involve the public health officers who will guide on how to body bag the body, because what we want is the body to be in 2 body bags. The outer body bag is disinfected and then ferried to the mortuary.
All right. Thanks, Johansen. That's Johansen Oduor, the chief government pathologist, speaking to us. The new directive is that if a patient dies of COVID-19, the body has to be collected by the loved ones within 24 hours. If not, the government will then bury them in the nearest cemetery. Now you know. All right, we're taking a quick break here on the Monday Report. When we come back, you sent in a lot of questions via video. We haven't forgotten. We'll pose all of them to Colonel Cyrus Oguna. He's the government spokesperson. He'll be joining us live here as well to answer all your questions in our virtual town hall, like we call it. All right, stay with the Monday Report. We'll see you in just a bit.